Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do the first oil change on the 2024 Honda 250RX. I literally only have 1.2 hours on it. It's just the break-in oil change. Some people run them longer. Some people just let it run for 10 minutes and change it. It's my first brand new dirt bike. I bought the 500X new, but it's not a performance machine. It's a grandpa bike kind of deal. So I'm just gonna change it. It's cheap. It only takes a quart of oil. So I'm gonna do the filter, 1 quart of Honda oil. I believe what we need is this. The race handbook comes with the new 250R and RXs, and tells you need basically a little over 1.11 quarts. I don't really know why it has two different measurements at draining. Maybe one's for the R and one's for the RX. I'm not sure. And then your disassembly. Need crush washers, which I bought at the dealership. I have no idea where it is. So I'm going to either reuse one that's on there or maybe one of these KTM ones will work. You need your oil filter, obviously. Torque wrench. I believe it's an 8mm hex key for the drain plug. We'll find out. Of course, you need the Honda oil. A couple of gallons down there. Drain plug, 8mm, I believe, is for the skid plate that we have to remove, and also for the skid plate. I'm pretty sure it's 8, which it's 8 or a 10. That might be actually an Allen key. Okay, yeah, that's an Allen because that's aftermarket. So, of course, we have to find out which ones that's going to be. I feel like it was one of these. Let's find out. Yeah, wait till you. That's it. So let's. Yeah. Take out this Cycler skid plate, which I don't. Oops. I don't know if you have to remove. I do think you need to remove it. I think we do. I was thinking it might have had a hole for it. Now this has a rubber O-ring. So hopefully it won't come all the way out. There we go. That's what happens when you don't take your skid plate off when you wash your bike. I'm gonna take this outside. We'll give it a good rinse when we take it off. Okay. Yeah. Wouldn't make sense to use gloves. I mean, I got a pair of them right here. I don't see any metal shavings or anything. No. I read some people, you get shavings or you get all kinds of stuff that comes out the first oil change, and nothing came out of that. It looks awesome. want you to stand the bike up straight. I'm sure just to get as much oil out as you can. I know, like Dirt Bike TV, he mentions holding the starter button and the kill switch and the starter button, just pumping it a couple of times, but I'm not going to do that on this first oil change. Yeah, maybe bring it over a little more. Oh, uh-oh. All right. Yeah, that will look great. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. Of course, 1.2 hours. I mean, it should look great. All right. Now, I'll put the drain plug back in. Yeah, I don't know if I got a washer that big. I do want to replace that with a magnetic drain plug. Let's see here. The engine drain plug, torque to 23 newton meters, 17 foot-pounds. Not where we use the stock one there. Not recommended, but it'll be fine. All right. $15, $16, $17. All right. Let's make sure oh yeah, it's nice and clean. You always want to check on that because that can be all kinds of gunky mud and dirt and grit that you don't want up in your motor. Alright. Trying to do this so you guys can see. God, that does not feel like very much. But it's 15 plus 2. Okay, now you take the oil filter cap off. Yeah. We're just going to give it a little zip. Okay. Those bolts are the same size for both sides. The rubber, well, it says outside, make sure you got that rubber caps on there. You got a round oil passage. And there's also an oil passage in the motor that you want to make sure you line them up to. Of course, this filter is perfect, but we're changing everything, so we're going to put the new filter on. I'm not going to bother getting that oil out right there. I might just shove one rag in there. Or I could just do this. Doesn't that make more sense? Alright. Now there's a spring in here. So when we put our new new filter, put a little oil on our O-ring, or not O-ring, I guess it's just a rubber seal. Kind of hold that on. It says on here, outside towards filter cover. That's a Honda filter. Put your spring in. Oil passage is here and here. This hole will line up with the top one. Spring should go right on. It shouldn't be difficult. Shouldn't be a lot of pressure. If it's binding up and there's a lot of pressure, then that spring probably just didn't go in the right spot. Take it off, try again. We'll go check. I don't know what the torque specs are on those. It just says tighten bolts securely. So that's what we'll do while we watch Race Rebuild Repeat. I already watched the Can-Am crew earlier today, so that's all we're getting right now. Yeah, I rode this bike for the first time today, like a real ride, and it did great. It really impressed me there. Pop a cap off. Grab our funnel. Make sure our funnel's clean. There we go. And the book says Honda GN4 4-stroke. It doesn't say 1040, 1030. The Honda gave me 1030 on the shop. Cycle Center in Asheboro, North Carolina. So that's what we're going to go with. Tell you what though, I am going to go get my beaker so I can measure one quart out first. Be right back. Alright, we're back with our beaker. I like this because the Honda jugs don't, it's pretty much impossible to see in there. They don't have that clear line like some brands do now. But we need 1,050 liters is what it calls for. So I'm just going to put right over, not liters, not milliliters, 1 liter. It's 1 liter, 1030. Probably go to 1040 this summer once it warms up. And there's a sight glass here. If I stood the bike up, maybe I'd see it fill up. But I know the filter's got to be filled too, because it was a dry filter. Oh, shizzle! I'm gonna do it. I've seen the pretty cool oil filters that kind of have the O-ring. I mean the for the KTM, but the funnels with the O-ring and the measurements on it, so you can just straight up hold it up, fill what you need, and sit on there and go have dinner and come back, and your bike's pretty much perfect. You don't got to be a pleb using a funnel and a beaker like it's 1920. But yeah, the bike did great today. The fan, I put the Tusk fan kit on it, and it's set at 190, and it came on a couple of times. Kind of surprised me. I thought it wouldn't come on so much. But I was riding kind of slow. I recorded it, but I used my chest cam, and all you see is the tank and the handlebars. And I use the chest cam on the quad. It does great, I guess, because I'm sitting more straight up. And on the bike, I guess I'm hunched over, and my stand-up, it gets even worse. So I won't be uploading it. There's nothing to see other than the bike bouncing up and down on rocks. I did a couple of good hill climbs. And gave the bike its first dump. This is a pretty good one. Okay, that's almost at full. But let's see, right now the filter's dry. So let's do that. Let that drain for just a minute. Then I'm going to spin spin it over, let it run for just a second. Stay right there. Let's see what we're looking at. Can you see the filter there? See, before it was just popping up, filling up. Well, I guess maybe just because I cranked the bike. You might need a second, but yeah, see, before it was full, now we're not even getting half. I think it's just how much we filled up in here. How much that dry filter soaked up. All right. That was a full liter. And we are, show it for you guys tonight, but we're pretty much perfect on the full mark. So that's where we're gonna run it. Nice even number, 1 liter. And there's the first oil change on 2024 250R RX. This is RX, but I'm sure it's exactly the same on the R. Yeah, the bike did great today. I really had a fun time with it. I need to move the handlebars back. I moved them up. I think sought to come here. I moved them forward because I thought it'd give me more room on the bike, but I noticed I was having to lean over quite a bit more. I'm just not quite tall enough for that. And other than that, it did great. I ran it in the slow map, and I think I only had one or two stalls that, my rear tire got caught up on a log. It didn't really stall from too much power, just a sudden stop from a log catching it, which is all driver error. I didn't think it happened. I wasn't like, oh man, this bike sucks. It was all me. Now I will say it had 1,000 psi in that thing from factory or from my dealership, so I let out a good chunk, but I didn't have a gauge with me. So let's see what. Okay, now we got about, I guess, 5. I like to have 8. Maybe even 8 or 10 in the front, but I let out a bunch on that trail. I mean, it was so stiff. It was about like a street tire. 5. So I went down to 5. 5 did great. I didn't have any qualms about the tire at all. It did great, but I'm going to get a pinch flat running 5. So I'm going to put 8 in there and see how that does. Alright, guys. That's a real long, stupid video on how to do an oil change. Maybe the next one I should shorten it up and make it just 2 minutes because that's all you really need. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great weekend.